right now, coming out of the sports world, or I would say a controversial story coming out of the sports world, Olympic hammer thrower Gwen Berry. Gwen Berry has gotten a lot of flack for her decision to turn away from the U.S. flag during the national anthem. This was for qualifiers for the Olympics, I believe. I think she's been to the Olympics twice already, and she's competing now to go for a third time. But just wanted to kind of preface this entire thing with a little bit of info in regards to just how I see things personally when it comes to discussing, these hot button topics. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here to give you my perspective as an athlete, to give you my perspective as a person, to give you my perspective as somebody who generally tries to get along with pretty much everybody I'm around. Don't really care about people's past. Don't really care about, judging people. I just, care about the here and the now. So with all that being said, let's take a look at this article just to kind of go through the basics. And then from there, we'll get into a video that I want you guys to check out, coupled with two different perspectives on it. So this will be two videos with two different perspectives. And then I'll give you guys my perspective so so you have kind of a well-rounded look at the situation from many different angles, which I think is the best way to go about this, because there's not one way to define these kinds of things, because nothing is just ever black or white. There are many shades of gray in the middle, and we are going to talk about those as well. So it says here, hammer thrower and activist Gwen Berry has received fierce backlash after she appeared to turn her back to the American flag as the national anthem was being played at the U.S. Olympic trials over the weekend. Berry, who famously protested during the anthem in the 2019 Pan American Games, caught attention for turning her body towards the stands and away from the flag as the Star Spangled Banner was playing at the trials in Eugene, Oregon on Saturday. Toward the end of the song, she put a black shirt with the words "activist athlete" on her head. Her competitors, Deanne Price, who won first place, and Brooke Anderson, who won second place, put their hands over their hearts and faced the flag. Following her protest of the anthem, she drew ire from some conservative voices. Texas Congressman Dan Crenshaw said Monday that Berry should be removed from the team. While sharing an article of the incident, Senator Ted Cruz tweeted, "Why does the left hate America?" Former Republican presidential candidate and ex-Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker also blasted Berry on Twitter. "What is wrong with people?" he wrote. "Growing up, everyone stood for the American flag. Didn't matter your politics, race, sex, income, religion. Everyone stood for the flag. It was one of those civic rituals that brought us together. It still should today." Berry responded to the criticism on social media, saying people's comments shows they rally patriotism over basic morality, and the commercial statements and phony sentiments regarding Black lives were just a hoax. "I never said I hated this country," she said in another tweet. "People try to put words in my mouth, but they can't. That's why I speak out. I love my people." On Saturday, Berry said she felt the playing of the anthem after her award ceremony felt like it was a setup. "They did it on purpose," Berry told the Associated Press. "I was pissed, to be honest." She added that she found it no coincidence that she was in plain view during the anthem. "They said they were going to play it before we walked out. Then they played it when we were out there," Berry said. "But I don't really want to talk about the anthem because that's not important. The anthem doesn't speak for me. It never has." USA Track and Field spokeswoman Susan Hazard said in a statement that the anthem was scheduled to play at 5:20. "We didn't wait until the athletes were on the podium for the hammer throw awards. The national anthem is played every day according to a previously published schedule," she said. Berry, who qualified for the Tokyo Olympics, said she will continue to advocate for racial justice in the U.S. "My purpose and my mission is bigger than sports," she said. "I'm here to represent those who died due to systemic racism. That's the important part. That's why I'm going. That's why I'm here today." Berry is no stranger to raising awareness to racial injustice. She and fencer Race Mboden were punished for protesting on the medal stand during the 2019 Pan American Games in Lima. They received a 12-month probation that was later overturned. Okay, so quick read to kind of give us, the complete picture, I guess, of the actual facts as they stand. These are the things that happened, and she's receiving backlash over it. Now, that alone is not where this whole situation stops. As I read, there are people who had their criticisms of it, and let's take a look. Now, this first video here, this is a video from Fox News, Dan Crenshaw. Dan Crenshaw, let's hear what he has to say about this entire situation. He is a senator, I believe, but let's take a look.
Back on the flag during the anthem, and she also put a black T-shirt over her face that said activist athlete.
We don't need any more activist athletes. She should be removed from the team. The entire point of the Olympic team is to represent the United States of America. That's the entire point. Okay, so it's one thing when these NBA players do it. Okay, fine, we'll just stop watching. But now the Olympic team, and it's multiple cases of this. They should be removed. That should be the bare minimum requirement, is that you believe in the country representing. But look.
Okay, so that's a snippet, 36 seconds. His response, to me, this is a little bit hypocritical for what he said. It is hypocritical because, one thing that we all, or a lot of us, can agree is that at times in this media-driven society that we live in, at times our reactions do not necessarily match with the actions that we are expressing our grievances over. And in today's world, what do we call that now? We call that, I guess, cancel culture is what we call that. And now, I am no advocate of cancel culture. I am an advocate of people being held accountable for the things they do. So whatever those rules dictate should happen to her for what she did, I think that is what should happen. But this here from Dan Crenshaw is the very thing that people who are conservatives generally, and there's also some who are liberals. This sounds to me like somebody who's advocating for cancel culture. You are advocating that she be canceled from her position because she's actually exercising her right to not pay attention to the American flag during the national anthem. Now, your opinion on that is whatever it may be. I don't think that was a smart thing to do at all. But at the end of the day, that's on her. She has to deal with the consequences of that. Now, what does that mean in regards to her future as an Olympic athlete? I don't think that anybody would say that we don't want an individual who's talented enough to not be able to be on the Olympic team because of their political leanings. Now, what she did was a political act, and we know her political leanings. So, knowing those things, are we now going to decide that she can't have a job that she's qualified for because of that? To me, that's hypocrisy. I have friends who are conservatives. I have friends who are, staunch conservatives. And that, as far as our relationship as friends is concerned, doesn't mean shit to me. I don't care what their leanings are. We're friends. I don't care that you're conservative. But there are people who, just because they're conservative and they have different views, they don't want them to have a platform at all, which I think is bullshit. That is cancel culture run amok as well. So from how I see things, in the most basic form, this is hypocrisy to say that she should be removed from the Olympics. That's hypocrisy, and that is just advocating for the concept of cancel culture. People with platforms who come out and voice that on one hand, they voice that they're against people being canceled for what they believe in or what their opinion is. But here we have an example of someone being canceled because they believe differently than this person does. Now, I'll hear people say, well, we had soldiers, we have military personnel that have died for that flag, that have died for you to have a free country. Yes, that's very true. That is true. They have died for the ideals of America, the ideals of our representative democracy, republic. Those ideals are very much what allow her to do what she did. They died for her to be able to do that. So why should she feel ashamed for that? She is doing what they literally laid their lives down for her to have the right to talk shit about her own country, for her to have the right to have grievances about her own country, for her to have the right to protest those grievances about her own country. Does it mean she hates America? No, I wouldn't say that at all. I hate aspects of America. I do. There are aspects of America and American history that I hate. Do I hate America? No. I hate America for what it's done to its citizens throughout the course of its history. But I love America for what it represents for me and my family personally. My family came here as immigrants. My parents came here as immigrants. In 1973, they had nothing. They came here with nothing. They were here illegally at one point until Ronald Reagan gave amnesty to over 12 million illegal immigrants in the country. A Republican, a conservative, allowed my parents to find a path to citizenship in this country when they were here illegally. My parents had 4 kids. Those kids have grown up to be productive members of society. My parents have owned multiple businesses in the state of Texas that they've run for coming up now over 20 years. My parents worked their ass off and they made it in the U.S. They are the American dream to me, and I love them for it. But America has done a lot of bad shit to its own people. America has done a lot of wrong shit to those they didn't even consider people. So you can't forget about those. You can't ignore that. You can't ignore that. And as an athlete, there is a platform that we have, and I'm speaking and saying we. Yes, I was a professional athlete. I'm not playing sports anymore, but I'm still in that fraternity. As professional athletes, so many times people say we should be role models. People say that we should be the example for these children to see what integrity, to see what hard work, to see what resilience and resolve gets you as a person who has ambitions to gain and build something for themselves in this life. Be a role model. Well, what is a role model? Is a role model a puppet? Is a role model someone who literally goes along with the herd and represents the way the herd represents? Or is a role model someone who shows their way, their individual strength as a person to do what's right, to do what they think is just? I think that a role model does stand up and sometimes go against the grain. I think a role model looks at a situation and can analyze and process for themselves whether they think it's right or wrong. But a role model should not be someone who just does whatever they're told. Now, in the realm of work, in the realm of being compensated for a job that you're doing, there is an obligation there for you to do your job. But at the same time, and it's unique with sports because sports is a job, but at the same time, it is a passion, and it is sports in general has a slightly different set of rules because of that duplicity that is present with the athlete. Also representing somewhat of a hero figure to the general public. And that's where that whole role model concept comes from. To really go against that and to really have a vitriol for someone who brings their perceived grievance to their platform, while she may have broken rules and she should be punished if she did break rules, I think in the court of public opinion, to do that should be at the very least tolerated. At the very least tolerated, because it is her right to protest. Now, if we're going to like get this whole cancel culture thing under control, don't use it when it serves your purpose. That's what's happening here with this video clip. You can't use it when it serves your purpose and then hate it when it doesn't. Let's talk about another clip here. Now, this is Bo of the Fifth Column. Bo, he's fairly liberal. He'll be on the other side of this, I'm sure. Have not seen this video, but I think it's, I think that we should listen to it so we can get a listen from both sides. So let's take a listen to this, and then we'll talk about it.
So today we're going to talk about Gwen Berry. If you don't know, person qualified for the U.S. Olympic team, national anthem, and she did something completely unprecedented, something no athlete has ever done before. She took that moment to draw attention to systemic issues in this country. Now, this didn't happen today, but many of our politicians have turned into 1990 shock jocks. So they held it for Monday so they could generate the most outrage, because that's what they're about now. They're about generating outrage, not about generating policy. I would like to clear a few things up. First and foremost, that flag, it's a piece of cloth. It is a piece of cloth. In and of itself, it means nothing. It's a symbol. It's a symbol of the ideals this country is supposed to represent. I
think that's a good point. I think I said that earlier. The flag itself is just a flag, but it represents ideals. It represents certain ideals that are actually written down on paper. Ideals that through and through are supposed to enrich every citizen. And through enriching every citizen, you create more patriotism for your country.
It's the symbol of a representative democracy. If you have spent the last year attempting to undermine the ideal of a representative democracy in this country, you don't get to pretend to be mad about this. You've already shown us that you don't care about those ideals. To you, it's not a symbol of those ideals. It's a bumper sticker. It's something you can rally your base behind. That's it. Nobody cares about your fake outrage.
I do want to kind of take a second here to look at the chat before I kind of give my 2 cents on where he is right now in the video, because I know a lot of y'all are on here chatting, and it looks like you guys are being pretty, you guys are going back and forth about it. So let's see here. The one thing I feel has been lost with how society is now is we can't have a discussion without people being offended. Discussion and debate is a great thing. True. May not like what she said, what she did, but she has the right afforded via freedom of speech. The flag brings us together, but it also calls for dissent for whatever your issues are with government. I think that's a great point. Because, and I believe this quote is attributed to Benjamin Franklin, but I'm not 100% sure that he is the one who actually said it. But the quote is, dissent is the truest form of patriotism. Being a patriot means, in my opinion, that even with my love for being an American, if America is fucking up, then it needs to be called out on it. It needs to change something. It needs to adjust and adapt to a new landscape that we live in. The Constitution is called a living, breathing document, and that is is basically meaning that it's a document. It is a set of laws and rights that is meant to be upgraded and modernized as time allows, as history unfolds. If you want to represent a country yet don't want to respect it, you don't deserve to be there. I don't know. I don't know about that one, because let's talk about Vietnam for a second. There were a lot of people who died in Vietnam who did not want to be there at all. There are a lot of people who died in Vietnam who did not agree with the reason for being there, who actually were pretty vocal about their dissent for being there. The bigger population of people who went to Vietnam were people who were of lower class as far as financial status goes in this country. I think that we all know that. People who were part of families that had a lot of money and had a lot of power, if their kid ended up having to go to Vietnam, which that rarely happened, they were not ever in harm's way in regards to actually being involved in combat. A lot of them were in non-combat position. The people who actually go and die for our rights and die representing our country, all of them don't necessarily believe that what the country is doing is right. Should we not allow those people to be part of society if they don't agree with what the country is doing? No. If you're protesting during the national anthem, does that mean that you are disrespecting the country? You have a problem with something in the country. It doesn't mean you disrespect or you hate your country. That is propaganda to me. Propaganda will tell you that someone who doesn't stand with their hand over their heart hates America. Well, these people hate America? I think that's a fair question. There's an American flag right there. He's holding it. There's an American flag right there. He's using it as a weapon. Does he hate America? If you ask him if he hates America, will he tell you he hates America? He is absolutely disrespecting the flag. The symbol of America is being utterly disrespected. Does he hate America? Do all of these people hate America? They are attacking America quite literally right now. This is not a protest. This is an attack. They are attacking people. That's a police officer. That's an American flag. That's the same guy with the American flag. He's used it as a weapon already, as well as the crutches. There's a middle finger. Does he love America? Does he hate America? You see, this to me is where I personally find direct disagreement with how some want to perceive what is loving America and what is hating America. If you cannot look at this picture and this picture and say to yourself that this person hates America, then why, oh why, are we looking at Gwen Berry and thinking, some, not all, and thinking that she hates America? She did not go grab a flag and attack a police officer with it. She did not spray bear mace. You know, she didn't do anything violent. She simply did nothing. So again, how does she hate America, but these people do not? I'm sure if you asked all of these people here, do you hate America? I'm sure they will say they love America. I'm sure they will say they are red-blooded Americans. Maybe this was them caught in a moment of emotion that they just kind of lost it. You know, energy is contagious. When the crowd, when the mob activates itself to be violent, generally people who are not violent will become violent. That mania passes around to everyone in that area. So this here, with red, white, and blue star-spangled flags wrapped around their bodies, in their hands like a spear, this is loving America, but this is hating America. To me, that's not logical. That's not logical. But to say on top of that, that she shouldn't have a job because of that is cancel culture. So you have someone here who, I'm not going to guess what his position was on The pictures I just showed you, I'm not going to guess because I don't know. I'm not going to guess at it. But I would say that if he believes that Gwen Berry should be removed from the United States Olympic team because she did nothing when the national anthem raised, she turned away from it, then he should also believe that anyone who was involved in this in any way, whether it be directly, whether it be indirectly, if he believes she should be removed, then he should believe that all of these people should be in prison, period. All of them. That would be consistency to me, because they're breaking the law. She is actually exercising a right given to her, a right that she is born with in this country. That's just how I see it. That's how I see it.